You're listening to the Last Man In podcast. Covering Winnipeg hockey and the NHL.
Shifley dances his way in. Shifley scores! Blake Wheeler finds the far corner. And the Winnipeg Jets win it in overtime.
Woo, woo, woo. Welcome back to Last Man In podcast, episode number 167. As you can tell, Greg's not here, so I don't know how it's going to go. We know we always go off the rails. We've got Dan, obviously the replacement Matt, which means Jets fan club's back. The fanboys are back. Back at it again.
The honest, unbiased reviews are back.
What do you mean honest and unbiased reviews?
Last week I was ready to punch both of you.
Why? Ivan Provorov, if we're going to go back at this, Ivan Provorov is clearly the better defenseman.
It's not just that. Just the whole
What do you
thing.
mean just that? Austin Mathman's amazing. I don't know why you just won't buy in.
I agree with Dan.
I think he's a little...
I don't necessarily disagree with some of the stuff you say. I just don't agree with a lot of the stuff you say.
Well, why don't you like...
And it was attacking. You guys were just berating him.
He was coming at us too. You don't...
Dan,
I come at you.
You guys...
I
You
came
came
at
at me with Gudis?
I came at you with
How dare
facts.
you. What facts? That Buffett is better than Provorov?
He is.
No, he's not. In what? Defensively? We're talking positionally. Are you about to throw your computer at me?
I might.
Dan's like, fuck this.
I might.
I'm out.
Next time that happens, Dan, just phone me and then put me on speaker, and then
Tell him the
it's a fair
situation.
argument, because then it's 2 against 2.
See, it was funny because I started off the argument by criticizing Bufflin, and then by the end of it I had to defend him because you guys just took it like to the
Hey,
way too far.
12th
Way
degree.
too far.
Worst
What are you talking
defense in the league. You might get a prospect for him if you trade him.
That's me. That's half a Greg,
Sure.
and then the prospect's
Sure.
me.
Okay.
It's a lot. $7.5 million is a lot. But nonetheless, so because of that, the Jets played 3 games this week, so we'll talk about that. And then other than that, I don't have much, so it's going to be great. Let's do this. I don't do previews either. I'm not Greg. Because, by the way, every week, Greg does a preview, and we always miss it.
I'm not going to lie, when Greg does his preview, I'm not listening.
It's fine. When Greg
I
does his
usually
preview,
tuning out.
I'm trying to keep up and keep writing. Greg's on the scouting report, as always. He basically was like, I hate you. I'm leaving forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I missed ever since I started pointing it out
What's
in
that?
the YouTube comments? Was his segues. He stopped doing it. You know, and it's fun to make fun of him for it. So,
Oh, yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, speaking of segues, I like going on rides to the airport. Welcome to airport, Richardson Airport in Winnipeg.
I'm pretty sure he didn't plan those. They just kind of happened.
No, but, like, he's trying to do them, like, I've done a few smooth ones before, but, like, usually they're pretty rough. Greg's is, like, you're pulling the e-brake going 40. Like, you're not even, like, it's just jerky. Or you put it, have you ever been driving this is just me. Have you ever been driving a car, and then you think you're, like, about to pull a, like, I don't know why I thought this, but I was driving, and then I put it into reverse. Not neutral, but reverse, and I was going, like, 50. I smashed my face on the wheel.
yeah, it's not good for your transmission.
Yeah,
by
it
the
went
way.
like, it made a sound. Don't worry, it's not my car. Not the current car I'm driving either, else I'm sure it'd be broken by now.
I don't think that car's functioning anymore.
No, yes it is. It's the old Honda. Reliable Honda, where you can put a car into reverse going 50 and it'll still work after. I think. I don't know. It's slowly dying on us. Anyways, the Jets, let's go oldest to newest. Jets played the Canucks. They lost. They won 4-2.
You really weren't paying attention.
None. I haven't. I've watched bits and bits of these games.
Bits and bits.
Bits and bits. So, how did the game go? You guys, one of you watch a game?
This
I
one.
watched it.
This one I watched. It's kind of
Okay.
kind of boring.
Why was it boring?
I don't know.
They're playing more of a defensive system now.
It just wasn't exciting. I mean, Vancouver's not very good, so that takes some of the excitement out of it. But I thought it was good. I mean, I know I was listening to some people were kind of disappointed that it was a close game considering they were playing Vancouver, who's not that good. But I thought Vancouver actually didn't play that bad.
Well, Vancouver they just beat Ottawa, who was the only Canadian team left that hadn't lost in regulation.
Yeah.
And they beat them in regulation like 6-1 or something, or 4-2. I don't remember
Like
what it was, but
like I think for me personally, I kind of went into the season. I'm like, oh, Vancouver's old, useless, not very good. And you watch the game, they have a lot of really young guys that you don't really know a lot about. They're not great, not bad. I mean, they still have the Sedins. Thomas Vanek, and who honestly I didn't even notice.
no, he didn't do much.
I kind of forgot they even had him.
You know who scored against
Thomas
Former
Vanek.
Jet.
Who's that? Oh, Bernie?
Alex Burmistrov.
He scored for the Canucks?
For the Canucks, yeah.
I forgot he was even there.
I think he was a scratch the Jets game.
That's the thing. I didn't like what their coach did there because, like, he played the first 2 games for them. Then he sits them against Winnipeg and then brings them back the next game. It's like, hey, well, you could have played him against his old team. Probably would have had some like extra fire in there for that game. I didn't get that one, but they put Brock Besser in, which makes sense for them because
he actually looked not bad.
No, he's a good hockey player.
Not bad. I thought the Jets played really well. I mean, it was only 4-2 and was an empty net goal at the end of the game, but you could just tell watching the game that the Jets are a lot better than Vancouver. Because there were like 5-minute stretches where they were just all over them.
And I felt like they were really structured the last 2 games, like in Carolina as well and Vancouver. The structure was there and they were playing more as a team and defensively they were really good, like blocking shots and everything. So
I agree.
We're on the right path.
Weirdest friggin' goal I've ever seen in my life though happened in this game.
Which one's that?
I think it was Chris Tanev. He took a slap shot from the blue line. And he was on... So if you're facing Hellebuck, he was on the right point. He took a slapper. It essentially went even more right and then curved super hard left and like went up and then just dipped.
Yeah, it was a knuckle puck.
It basically went. It did like a
soccer free kick,
like a half moon. Yeah, it looked like it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Weird.
Yeah, and I don't think the puck even hit anything. I think it just literally went.
No, it was just a knuckle puck.
Yeah,
it was
weird.
strange.
Did Brother Tanev ever hit other Brother Tanev?
I think there was one
maybe
altercation where they hit a little, but it wasn't a big hit or anything. I think it was just a rub out more than anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, like I said, they played a really good game. They stuck to, unlike a game that we'll talk about in a few minutes. They actually had a structure. They played with a structure.
So to wrap up the Canucks game,
pretty good.
Boring game, but they won.
Boring, but they won.
And you said defensive style.
Yeah, like defensively, they collapsed back and made sure there were no rebounds on Hellebuck. Whenever it went out to the point, the winger got there real quick so that there wasn't like a big shot. So it worked out really well for them in that regard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought Kulikov, the Edmonton and the Vancouver games, he played really well. Like I noticed him a lot. I was pretty impressed with him.
But that was his best game was Vancouver. By far.
Yeah, and the Edmonton game too. I mean, he was really good in that game too.
Yeah.
So, it's a shame that he did get hurt in the Carolina game, but yeah, I've been impressed with him so far.
It's actually not as bad of an injury as they thought.
Yeah,
previously.
that's what I've heard.
They thought he was going to be out for 2 weeks, and now they're saying he's skating, and it was just a really bad Charlie horse.
I got a hot take. I'm not going to say it now. I'll save it, but I got a hot take.
Perfect. Fantastic.
Ties into Dmitry Kulikov.
Okay, good.
So.
Save it for later then. The following game they played was who? When did they play?
Carolina, Saturday.
Okay. How was that game? I see nothing.
I saw a bit of the second period. That was it.
Awful.
I heard that they didn't play very well, but they still won.
Yeah, they played terribly, but just, like, once again, defensively, they were really good. Stayed in their lanes, stayed, like, very positional, and were able to squeak out a win, which I thought was really good until the next game because the same kind of shit happened. But, yeah, like, Ehlers with a nice goal again. He ended up being first star, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, he did get the first star of the week in the NHL.
But, yeah, he's been our fucking best player. Oh, sorry.
That's all good. I swore
No,
10 seconds into it. It's all good.
He's been...
He has really.
He's been driving the play, and it's been really good. Except for the fact that, like, our best players just haven't... Like, Wheeler, I haven't noticed him all that much after that... Was it the Edmonton game?
I've been watching him this year, and he looks like he's struggling.
It looks like he's lost a step.
Like, he doesn't look... Yeah, it looks like he's struggling to keep up.
But he's also playing with Scheifele and Ehlers, who are probably our two fastest players other than Tanev.
True. But I even noticed just, like, racing for pucks or, if he's battling a guy against the boards, like, he looks like he's struggling. Maybe it's just the start, maybe it's just the way it's going, but he looks like he's... Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say he's lost a step, but it looks like he doesn't look quite up to the speed that he normally is.
No, I agree with that for sure.
Which, if that's the case, that's not good, because...
When's his contract up?
He's got 2 years.
This year, next year.
Yeah. Which, I mean, hey, if that continues to happen, then it makes your choice in 2 years really easy, but...
Not to sign him.
Well, yeah.
Well, the money's going to Line, I think, anyway, so I don't think there's going to be room for him. So, we'll see when it happens, but it's going to be tough to fit all these players under contract, especially if Trouba does stay. So I think maybe parting with him is going to be an easier decision by then. And then you name Scheifele captain.
Fair. I don't have much to say on this or on the game because I didn't see either.
I
of
like
these
Wheeler.
games.
I personally hope that he kind of bounces back. I think he's a good guy to be the captain of the team right now. But yeah, I mean he'll also be 30, probably 33, 34 when his contract's up. He's 31 right now.
Yeah, he'll be 33. I believe.
So do you really want to be paying him?
Well, how long is this contract going to be as well? Because if you look, Little got 6 years, and I think he'll be 35 at the end of his contract, or 36, I think. So, do you want to be paying Wheeler till he's 30?
Well, and I'm almost wondering too. The question too is if he's been like a 70-point guy consistently, pretty much every year since they've been here,
And
so
been the driver.
if he slows down for the
17.
next couple of years, can you then keep him at a cheaper rate?
If he wants to be here and wants to take, not even a pay cut, but, stay around the same cap hit,
Yeah.
Little did, yeah, you can keep him, but if he wants a raise because he's been so good for this team, I don't see us keeping him.
And that's going to be interesting because I think if he puts up 70 points the next 2 years, I mean his asking price is going to be
Ginormous.
a lot higher than it is right now.
Yeah.
Like he's at 5.75, I've said this the last number of years. I think he's one of the best bargains in the NHL.
You're not
for
wrong.
for the price that they pay him and for what he does.
Except for excluding guys on entry-level contracts, you can really argue he is the best. Who's got a better cap hit than him at his production level?
Now
Sagan, maybe you can.
Now you're
compare
getting
him
into
to.
Scheifele, Ehlers, those contracts are just starting, so that's a whole nother point. But for what he's done in the last 6 years, for what they paid him, it's a good value.
The thing with him though is now though he doesn't have to be the driver of the offense. He can just come in late.
True. Yeah.
And just kind of reap the benefits of playing with a Scheifele and an Ehlers or a Little and a Laine or even Kyle Connor.
Yeah. Okay. No, I agree. Matthew Pro got hurt in the Carolina game too, did he not?
Yes. I think he broke something because he's out for a month. This is exactly what I was talking about, Dan, last year. Get rid of him.
I'm more mad because I took him on my fantasy team.
Oh.
That's I'm more mad.
How many years is left on that contract?
He just started. He's got 4.
Oh
That's a fine contract.
no! How
for
much?
For the cap
Like
hit.
$4 million.
4.125.
4.125.
I'll go and block a shot and be out a month at a time if you pay me that much money.
I mean, the thing
I
is,
will do
he's an injury plagued guy, but he's not far off from a point a game player when he's healthy. He's like a 0.7 points per game player. So if you're getting $4 million for that, that's pretty good.
Okay, but say he
how
gets
many games does he miss?
That's the thing. Say
but
he
he
plays
put
50
up-
games in a year and
But he puts up 45
points.
Like
I'd rather have a guy with his skill level, not his skill level, but almost just as good, putting up 54 points over an 82 game season. Because then he's in the lineup. And you don't have to play guys that are not as good.
the only problem is that they don't have any. None of their bottom 6 guys are good enough to do that.
To
And that'll
replace
be my-
his skill, you mean?
Yeah, that's one thing. If you want to transition to the game last night, that
Yeah, do it.
their bottom 6 is bad.
They
it's
played
bad.
Columbus Blue Jackets. They lost 5-2 last night.
Yeah, I think going into the game last night, they had 2 points from their bottom 6 players through 5 games, and they're a shorthanded goal and a shorthanded assist, and they got another shorthanded goal last night from Joel Armia. So that's combined bottom 6. That's 6 guys. They have 3 points in 6 games.
It was
and
unassisted?
Yeah, and they're
Nice.
all shorthanded.
It was beautiful though.
It was a great goal, but
I was right on the goal line for that one because that's where my seats are.
the
I
biggest
just watched and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
the biggest problem last year was their third line was good, but it should have been their fourth line. And I'll argue their third line this year is even worse.
You know what?
Because right now they have Tanev with Matthias and Lowry.
Well, Larry's hurt, so it's actually Cop.
Well, yeah, and now Kopp. And then, they have Patan and Dano rotating through the bottom 6. I think Armia should be on the third line. I think he's the best player of the 6. I don't know why they...
Well, you didn't watch the Carolina, or was the Carolina game, or
Was he not that good?
He played terrible. He hasn't really done anything. That's why he got sat.
I just think
I
feel like he has the most skill.
I think it was a wake up call for him because he is he's very talented.
Yeah.
But the thing with him has always been consistency, and you could tell in the previous games that he wasn't motivated, or I shouldn't say motivated, but he just wasn't all there.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
fair.
think it was because they did that to him. Right, I think it was the first game of the year. He sat in the box,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that he played great pretty much all year. And a little bits in here he wasn't
Yep.
good, but
Well, maybe we should talk about the game last night because then I'll transition to what I want to talk about. But so Kyle Connor got called up. He was in the second line to start the game, and then they moved him up to the first line because he scored. So he was in. Perreault was out. Tucker Pullman was in because Dmitry Kulikov was out.
he looked good even on the left side.
I
like
thought
him.
Pullman's been pretty. I mean, last night he didn't look great, but honestly, last night nobody looked
No.
great. Like that game last night was just every bit of structure that they had in that 3-game winning streak was just gone. Like the first period, they didn't play terrible, but Mason kind of held them in the game. The Jets didn't. They had a couple of good chances, but they really couldn't. They just couldn't get anything going. And then the first goal that Columbus scored, it was a terrible turnover by Ehlers at the blue line. Leads to a breakaway. I mean, it's gonna happen. Whatever. The second goal was the second goal was the Wheeler turnover at their own blue line, which was terrible.
It was a nice goal by Flano, though.
That-
I'll give him that.
It was, but it
terrible
was
turnover,
a
yeah.
it was a terrible turnover, and then I think it was a bad play by Morrissey just to go sliding past them. I mean, it was
You know what? No one
looked
played
good
well.
on that play. Even Mason looked like a fool in that play, and
Well, you see those goals happen just because goalies
He's not ready.
He's
Yeah.
It's not that he's not ready. Yeah, there's that, and then he's also sliding all the way across, just trying to stay upright. So then by the end you get to where he's got no room, so you kind of fall down and you have to kind of turn and
Yeah,
get back.
like, I mean-
there's not a lot of time.
it was a great move. Is it Foligno?
Yeah, it was.
It was a great move.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was one of the nicest goals I've seen live. Like it was gorgeous, but and then they score to make it 2-1, and then they give up another awful goal because this one I'll put 100% on the defensive play because I think it was Pullman goes sliding into the corner past the guy.
That was the one where Little hit Pullman though. That wasn't Pullman's fault. Pullman was
They
making
both
the right
kind of
play
hit
and
each
collided.
other and go flying, so
Yeah.
they fail to take the puck carrier. Meanwhile, and then Ehlers kind of does a little swoop, doesn't even stick check him, and then he fires it across the ice, and no one's watching the defenseman. I mean, it was poor defending. That's the only way I can really describe that. So they're down 3-1, and I don't think any of the goals is Mason's fault. I thought he made a couple. He made, honestly, one of the best saves I've ever seen when it was 2-0, I think.
Oh, that one where it kind of hit him like.
Well, there was one where it kind of hit him in the
This
butt and he was
Yeah.
sprawling, but then there was one where he came across and there were a bunch of guys in front of him and he
Yeah, no, I
stopped a breakaway. I mean, he did everything that he could to not let them, the game get away. And then the fourth goal was probably a weak goal that he probably should stop, but the whole play, Enstrom gets the puck at his blue line. Instead of turning around and firing up the ice, skates back towards the goal, fumbling the puck, takes it all the way into the corner, and then just coughs it up to the guy who throws it on net from the goal line, and it goes in. Bad goal by Mason, but the whole thing started with Toby, Enstrom, a big blunder and turnover by Enstrom. So, 50-50 if you want to call it that, half on the D, half on Mason. And then, of course, it ended up being a 5-2 game, I think was the final score. But the Jets just, they
Even
looked
that
bad.
fifth goal, I didn't. It was a nice shot, but
He probably should have had that one.
He
So
could have had it.
I'll say one goal. One goal is probably 100% on him. One of them was probably 50-50, and the other three, he had no chance. So, but they just it was a disappointing game. It was one of the worst games I've seen them play in 6 years.
See, and it's essentially that
It
was the
was
same
just-
way they played
yeah.
against Carolina, but Carolina's not as
So
they're not as skilled.
it didn't
They don't have as
cost them,
good
yeah.
forwards,
Yeah.
if you ask me.
Yeah.
And so it didn't cost them, and they were able to stay structurally sound because Carolina's not as fast either. That's the thing with the Jackets; they're such a fast team.
They're quick. I noticed that last night. They were quick.
But then it didn't help that the Jets weren't skating at all.
No, they had nothing.
Like I think the only time they were really dangerous, other than the 2 goals they scored, was when they put Line A, Scheifele, and Ehlers together right after the penalty kill,
yeah.
and Scheifele ripped it off the post.
Yeah.
That was the only time they were dangerous, and
Yeah.
so I hope next game they put that line together and then have Connor with
Yeah.
Little and Wheeler.
I thought
looked
Connor
good.
was probably the best
he was
forward.
definitely the best forward all game.
I think so. I don't think many guys look very good, but he looked good.
He had something to prove, and I'd love for him to stick with the Jets. Have him in your top 6, and then if you can have Perreault on your third line with Lowry and Armia, or
Yeah.
Lowry and Kopp, then you have 3 lines that can score.
See, and that's what I thought they would do at the beginning of the year, because it spreads your wealth, but then they send Connor back to the AHL, and they're stuck with the same bottom six that they had last year, which wasn't good enough.
See, the thing I did
And it
agree
was
with
just
them sending him down is there was no production, and this is a production league. Like if
Fair enough.
you're not showing, like he showed that he could play here, but he didn't have any production, so he didn't really earn a spot. Now that there's an injury, you can come earn your spot.
Yeah.
Like you're only 5 games in, he could still be rookie of the year. We don't know.
Yeah, I thought he looked great last night. I think if he plays like that, I think they'll keep him because, yeah, he looked really good.
Like, and if you insulate him with Little and Wheeler, who are 2 good vets who can teach him everything, because apparently he's just a sponge, eh? Like he just soaks up everything you tell him. So playing with a guy like Wheeler will be tremendous for him because Wheeler's a great 2-way forward.
Yeah, and I think Wheeler and Little are probably the 2 best guys that he can be with, or Wheeler and Scheifele, however they want to spin it. You know. Yeah. It was disappointing. It was just I
left the game angry.
Yeah, like
I did. Like I
that's
left the
thing.
arena and I was just
Like,
I
if
was
you-
mad because like I'm just so excited for this team to do good, and time after time they're disappointing me every time I go to a game.
It'd be one thing. Like I'd be fine if they lost to Columbus. It's a good team. You know, like honestly, they played 6 games. The only team that's not the only easy quote unquote team they played is Vancouver. I mean, Toronto, Calgary, Carolina, Columbus, Edmonton, those are good teams. You know, and for them to be 3-3 after 6 games, that's not, you know, honestly, it's not bad. The thing that concerns me is the way they've lost their games.
Well, the thing
It's
is,
not just that they've lost; it's that they've looked horrendous.
if they can squeak out of this month being 500,
Yeah,
you're looking pretty good still because
they got
our next games we
tough
have
month.
Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Minnesota are our next 5 games.
And then I think they got Dallas twice too.
Dallas still doesn't scare me.
No, but I mean, you know, it's
Still a good hockey team, but I don't think they're up at the echelon that the other.
I mean,
3 are at.
it's just yeah, like you said, like I left that game last night. Like I don't know if I was mad, but surely just like it wasn't just like oh, you know, well they lost. Like it was like that sucked. You know, like they preached so much over the summer. They're like, you know, we're going to be better defensively. Our goaltending is going to be better.
Well, and for 3 games, their defensive structure was great.
You know,
and then they just have a blunder like that.
They're preaching all these things, and I think Hellebuck's been great. I think he's been fantastic.
I don't know why they took him out. I would not have taken him out. I don't think he would have made that big of a difference.
Coach said because they played last night, then they play Friday, and then they don't play for 6 days. So they didn't want Mason to go too long without a game.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, it's just like you said, you want them to do well and everything, and they keep saying, you know, this is the year we're going to move forward. We're going to play defense, and through the first 6 games, I feel like I'm watching the same team I watched last year.
Well,
They could be brilliant, or they could be. You don't know what you're going to get.
I went to the home opener. I wore my Ehlers jersey because he just signed this contract extension. They play like crap, so I'm like, okay, wear my Scheifele jersey this time. They play like crap again. What? I don't have any other jerseys to wear. Now I got to go there in a sweater or something.
Nothing.
I'm going no jersey next time.
I can lend you my Burmese-Strov.
No, I'm good.
Number 8
There you go.
Burmese-Strov. Right?
There you go with the patch.
Yeah, so I
yeah,
can
but I don't know. I mean, I'm not like I don't want to throw in the towel on them. I still think I like a lot of the players they got. It's been 6 games, but I would be leaning more towards being worried than optimistic at this point because
I still think there's a lot of talent there, and I think there's still growing pains with them coming because they had no systems really last year defensively. So you're gonna have these gaffes where they're gonna play like their old selves. It's just a matter of it wasn't even the systems last game. It was the fact that there was no effort, and that's what scares me.
Well,
it's 2 games in a row with that exact same effort. It's strange. It's like they think they can rely on their skill and not work hard because they're that talented. It's kind of how I see it, but it's just not good.
I'm just wondering at what point do they have to sit here and look at this team and say, we're getting as at what point do they say that this is as good as this group of players is going to get? I mean, I think they have a lot of talent in their top 6 forwards. I think it's one of the best in the NHL in terms of on paper, but at some point. And I said this in the summertime, at some point you have to look at some of these guys that, like Little, Bufflin, Enstrom, Wheeler, these guys that have been here for 6 years, and you kind of have to say, it doesn't matter how much we like you or how well you've played for us, if it's not going to work, maybe it's just time to try something different. And I'm not saying that time is now, but...
The guy I look at But the thing is that with the Trouba possibly leaving, is Buff. Like, the 2 games that he didn't play, they played really well.
Yeah.
He comes back in the lineup, and they haven't played well for both games he's been back, which scares me because I really like Buff. Like, the 4 games that he's played, the group as a whole has not played well. I'm not putting this on Buff because that Carolina game, he was probably our best defenseman. Like, defensively, he was really good and structurally. And when it came time to, like, jump into the play and, like, make a play to hit somebody or move the puck offensively quick, he was right in there and making the right reads.
Yep.
But the whole team just was sitting back and not doing anything. And it's just weird how...
And I thought Buff in the first period last night, I thought he was really good because he was hitting, he was jumping up, and he was being smart about it.
Yeah.
And then the whole game kind of got away from them, and then I noticed, they're shorthanded and he's up at the blue line. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's just, I don't know.
It's going back into old routines or old habits once you get down, and you can't do that. You have to keep playing structurally.
And I was just thinking to myself today, like, can you honestly remember, like, and I get that there's been turnover in the time that they've been here, but can you remember a core of a team that's been kept together this long that hasn't done anything? Like, it'd be one thing if they were making the playoffs and, maybe went a round or 2 or even, went on a run, but literally they've done nothing in 7 years, and yet they've
kind of look at Arizona for that. Different story because no one really wants to stay there.
And maybe it's partially because they have a hard time getting guys to come here, so they have to keep what they have. And I'm sure that they like the players that they have, but, it's... And I like I said, it's still early. I really hope that they can, get the most out of this group. I think their bottom 6 needs to be better, and whether that comes from internally keeping Kyle Connor, moving Matthew Perreault down.
Well, I think it's also time to bring in someone for Daniel because he's looked just...
You know what?
He hasn't done anything. Like,
they called up Brendan Lemieux yesterday, and I don't know why they didn't put him in the lineup because I'd love to see what he can do.
I think he goes in Friday after that game.
Because like you said, Daniel, like, how long do you need to run the experiment on him? Nick Patan, like, I think he's got a lot of skill, but the same thing. How long do you have to run the experiment on him before you realize it's not going to work? Andrew Kopp, like, I'm sorry, like those guys, like, they could bring some, and Matthias, like, they can bring in, like, it's almost time that maybe to try something different. As much as you might like these guys and they might have upside, like, I don't know.
Maybe trade Patan for a bona fide, like,
I'm not
sold. 6 guy. Like,
but who's going to take Patan?
The thing is Patan still has talent if you can get him to a team that is up to the cap that needs a top 6 forward. Because that's what he needs. He needs more ice time. He needs a better situation for him to be successful. Him playing on the 4th line, he's never going to do much because he's not getting offensive opportunities. He needs to be with a highly skilled player. So playing with Dano and who did he play with? Matthias last game? Like, he's not going to do anything with those 2 guys. He needs someone he can set up.
Yeah. Here's my hot take. I mean...
Brought to you by Aunt Jemima. Not brought to you by Aunt Jemima.
I don't know if you want to call it a hot take.
Dad and Side Sizzler, not brought to you by TGI Fridays. Go ahead.
You can debate whether it's a hot take or not, but yeah, when Matthew Perreault's good to go, keep Kyle Connor on the second line, or the first line, whatever you want to call it, 1A, 1B, because it almost seems like the Jets have 2 first lines and then 2 fourth lines right now. Like, that's pretty much what they're working with. And,
that's pretty much, yeah. It's pretty much
like, you can flip a coin between the top 2 lines, which one's better. I couldn't tell you. They're both pretty good.
Well, once Laine gets going, whatever line is on is
but,
going to be the top line, because he hasn't played well yet, really.
So keep Kyle Connor in the top 6 mix, bring Matthew Perreault down to the 3rd line, and then why not bring Jack Roslovic up and put him in the center of the 3rd line? Because what's it going to hurt from trying? I mean, yeah, he's only played 1 year in the AHL, but he's got a lot of upside. So you put him in the middle, and you can put Joel Armia or someone that has skill. And I think Armia, the same thing with Patan. Like, he's too talented to be in a 4th line role. Like, he's just not going to flourish.
The thing with Roslovic is he ready defensively to go up against guys in the NHL?
But why not try?
Yeah.
And then
say you're going up against Anaheim. Do you want him playing against Getzlaf at any point? Because I don't.
You might have to make that call when it happens, but then you bump Lowry down to the 4th line, and you can put him with, you can put Matthias on the wing, you can put, I think Tanev's been, no one's really doing much, but he hasn't done a lot, but I think he's
You
been
notice
okay.
him out there because he's
You
been our
notice him.
fastest player. He's
Or put him,
working hardest.
Brendan Lemieux. Give him a chance. See what he can do. I think they
A
need
line
to.
of if your fourth line, which I don't think is gonna happen because I like Lowry on the third line personally, but if your fourth line is Tanev, Lowry, and Lemieux, like other teams aren't gonna want to play against that line because they're just gonna hit.
And those are
crash,
guys
and
that should excel in a defensive, fourth line role.
Yeah.
But to me, it's frustrating that it's almost like they're like, oh no, Dano, Patan, Kopp, like these guys, like they played in the NHL, so we're comfortable with them. But it's like they're not that good. Like there's nothing glaringly wrong with them per se, but
if you're not doing anything on the ice, like what's the point of having them? Like,
exactly.
They're every once in a while they make a mistake, but they're never
Yeah.
making up for those mistakes because there's never anything good that comes from them being on the ice.
Like if they lost Andrew Kopp or Marco Dano or Nick Patan, would they suffer? I don't think so.
Andrew Cobb, maybe. I think he's a good player.
I mean, he could maybe be in that fourth line center role, but I don't know. I'm not really sold on him per se. But
Okay, while you guys are talking about this, there is actually we had a comment from the Canadian Nerfer. This is 4 days ago, so keep in mind it's kind of dated, but I want to read it because it's pretty much exactly what Kez is saying, but I want to read it to make sure we read it.
Yeah.
Okay. Why the frick... by the way, this is... I'll just read it. Yeah, I'll just read it. You guys, you'll pick up on where I'm going from.
Do it.
Person, the Canadian Nerfer. Why the frick does Dan and Greg think Paul Maurice is a good coach? He's going to be the losingest coach ever in like 14 games. He's a third line of Lowry, Armia, and Kopp or Tanev soon. Freaking Matt Hendricks. The third line should be Dano, Patan, Perreault / Connor. Depends where you think Connor goes. I think second line and move Perreault down. Exactly what you guys are saying right now. But guess what? Kyle the Goat Connor is in the freaking AHL. You heard that right? Maurice is crazy. Fourth line can be Comrie. Wait, what is this? Fourth line can be Hendricks, Kopp, Tanev, Lowry, Armia. That's 6 people. That's 5. That's 5 players.
That's a good.
Okay, basically they have Lowry and Armia locked in, and then they said it could be Hendricks, Kopp, Tanev. Doesn't matter. Also, Mason contract is too long. They should have signed a different goalie for 1 year. No one's signing a 1-year contract to negate that. Comrie is almost ready. All caps. I hope the Jets lose there. T-H-E-R. No, T-H-E-R-E. Either way, wrong there. I hope the Jets lose their next 30 games so we can be rid of this garbage coach. Parentheses. Soon to be most longest coach in the NHL history, by the way. One of the reasons is because of stupid decisions like freaking Adam Lowry on the first line PP. Garbage! He doesn't know what he's doing, and neither does Chevy. He only signs some really good contracts and gives a coach players such as Thorburn and Stewart. I'm reading this word for word here. But it's the coach's decision to put those players in. And lastly, I do not like Kulikov. And Chevy is only good at drafting because of the scouting staff and freaking top 10 pick every year. This is my favorite part of the comment. Hashtag free Connor. Canadian Nerfer must be jacked now.
I was gonna say that was a pretty heated.
Basically, so
I agree with some of what he's saying, and I disagree with some of what he's saying.
Did you just assume it's not a she?
He or she, sorry.
They.
I disagree with some of what I think.
Just say it, then we're not.
No, dude. Just say he or she.
If it's a clown that's eats
The
children, then I
internet.
don't want to deal with it.
The internet. So what do you disagree with first? We'll start with that.
I think all the hate that Steve Mason's been getting is not justified because
The team has played.
the team that played in front of Hellebuck is night and day compared to the team that's played in front of him. And whether that's they don't have confidence in front of him, they have an overconfidence. They think he's the new goalie. He's gonna stop pucks. We don't have to do anything, Because I think he's played good. They've been awful in front of him.
That last game he played good. I don't think he was great against Toronto or Calgary,
I don't think he was great, but I don't.
But he
think
didn't play bad.
I
It's
don't
just,
think
there
the
was
majority of
defensive
the
lapses.
goals were his fault. Let's put it that way.
You're right.
I think you have to give him time. I know that his stats are terrible, and I know that his first 3 games are terrible. But
I'm pretty sure he's like worse in the league for goals against average right now.
oh, I can see it.
He's gotta have an average.
I mean, he's
What,
given up
5,
5 in
5.5?
every game.
Oh, he's got to be at least 5, I think.
But I think you have everyone that's already after 3 games of him playing saying that was a bad move. Like that's a pretty short-sighted argument. In my
He is
point.
39 out of 39 right
You
now.
know, if he's that bad halfway through the year, by the end of the year, yeah, then maybe you can say, well, was it a good contract? But, you know, you have to give it time.
But the thing is if Hellebuck flourishes, like, not under him, but, like, with him, we finally have a goalie to insulate him, which we didn't have with Hutchinson, so it is still a good signing. If Hellebuck plays well, and Mason's just there comforting him and telling him, like, good job, here's your water bottle, it's a good signing.
And it's almost like, you know, like Hellebuck's played, you know, he played very well all 3 games, and, you know, it's almost like people have forgotten how bad he was last year now. Because he's been so, you know, and...
He changed his style of play, too, right? Like, he's very calm in the net, and that's the biggest difference, is he's not overplaying anything. Yeah. And he's just... Positionally, he's right in between those posts all the time, so it's good that way. Yeah.
So I personally want to ride it out. I still think both goalies are fine. I think they're, you know, give it time. Things will even out. What else did they say? That was a big rant.
Okay, they said
Maurice as a coach. You know, I like him, but I don't know if it's him or just the team, but my patience is kind of starting to wear thin a little bit. I mean, you know, he's been here for 4 years now.
But you look at the defensive structure they had those last 2 games, or the last 3 games, or however long it was.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we start losing a game, and then they the team just stops playing that way. Is it the coach, or is it just the players going, well, we need to score goals, so screw the structure? It's not always on the coach when a coach gets fired.
Yeah. Yeah. And it you know, unfortunately, if it's a matter of, you know, the coach is saying them, you know, the coach is giving the message and the players just aren't taking it, aren't. Yeah. You know, unfortunately, the coach usually the one that takes the blame and takes the fall, right?
It's almost like the Kyle Connor argument, where it's a production league, and if he's not producing, like the team's not producing, it falls on the coach.
Yeah, I think Chevy's been fine. I mean,
I have no ill will towards
him. I mean, you know,
him.
he's drafted a lot of good players. I mean,
look at taking Scheifele out of left field. Look at how well that's turned out. He's been the best.
And remember
player.
how much criticism that they got from that?
So much criticism.
Mark Schiffels. I knew who that guy was for sure going into the draft.
But
I usually have a good handle on like round 1. I'm like, I can name most guys. That was like, whoa, who, what?
But
that's not Couturier.
But even look in 2013 when they picked a little bit later in the first round, and you know Max Domi had slipped in the Jet, and everyone's like, you know, salivating, you know, oh, we're gonna get him, and then the Coyotes take him right before, and everyone's like, oh, great. And then he drafts Josh Morrissey, who 3 years later is one of your top pairing defensemen.
Do you remember how much crap they took for drafting him? Like everyone was, we don't need defensemen, we need forwards. Well, where would we have been last year without him when Trouba decided to hold out? Yeah, like we would have been screwed.
And like Ehlers, like I don't think anybody saw that pick coming. Like he was touted to be a high pick, but don't think people expected him to be what he is so fast.
And what we're talking about here is scouting.
I mean, Laine fell in his lap, really. That was a gift.
Yeah.
But...
Everyone gets nice gifts from time to time.
You know, I mean, Trouba's been a good...
The thing is before the draft, him and Puljujärvi was so close, and look at how Puljujärvi is.
Well, and that's the thing, right?
He could still turn into a good player, but, like, we're 2 years into being drafted.
But he's been the AHL for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Laine scored, 36 goals his first year, so...
No, I'm not gonna...
I like Kulikov. I have no problem.
I have no idea why they have an issue with Kulikov.
I really don't when you consider that it's either Kulikov or Stewart. Who would you rather take? Like, that was the
Never
alternative.
Again.
I mean,
never again.
My other, I don't know if you want to call it a hot take. I think when Kulikov is back, I think you put Toby in the press box. I think you put Pullman in the lineup. You have to. I mean,
he's so good.
At some point, you have to just... It doesn't matter what the number on the contract says that the guy's making. You have to do what's best for your
this
team.
Year. This is the year that if they don't make playoffs, this city's gonna just they might even just give up on the team because it's getting to that point.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, there weren't a lot of empty seats at the game last night, but there were some.
They're already starting to sell mini packs. They sell mini packs now.
Yeah. So.
And mini packs means season ticket holders are dropping off, and if you have another questionable
the thing is,
season,
they still have people.
Yeah. Of course, but
the mini packs are more for when teams come and then they ask for. Like how many tickets you want if there's still leftover tickets.
No, but they sold them at the start of the year. Like they were like, oh, mini.
It's much easier to get tickets now than it was, 5 years ago.
Which I would fully expect, but it's like, I want that. I want to feel.
And you know what? I think if they become a like a consistent playoff team, a contender, I don't think they'll have a problem getting people.
No.
And it's not like the games are probably still sold out. It's just people aren't necessarily going, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what you're looking for is announced attendance, because ticket sales you could be sold out, but it's who shows up.
I was told, I read an article, I think it was with Chipman, last year, and he said that a sellout doesn't mean you sold every ticket. Apparently, if it's 99% or more sold, they consider that a sellout. Like that's just like the NHL.
Oh yeah. That's
so you don't. So you can be sold out, quote unquote, but not actually have
within
all
50
your
seats of the
yeah,
arena,
like you're pretty close, but
that's an empty section in one seat every section.
Yeah.
Essentially, at least at the MTS, to my knowledge, because we don't have that many sections. And
Back-
we have 60.
Back to that rant. Like I agree with the Kyle Connor thing. I agree their bottom six needs work. I don't think putting Dano on the third line is a good move.
I don't think having Dano in the lineup's a good move, but that's
He's
I'm
done nothing.
not sold on
He's
Dano.
literally done nothing for how many games have we played? 6?
Yeah.
Done nothing for 6 games.
Well, the whole bottom six, they had 3 points between 6 guys in 6 games.
Shuffle it up.
Yeah. I mean, like...
Is it time to look at splitting up your top 6 and having some of those guys
Spread
that
the
are
wealth?
spread the wealth and having like you have your Scheifele Wheeler, you have your Little,
Laine.
and then Connor, and then you have Ehlers and
Laine.
Laine. So your third line center, whoever it is, like say it's Lowry. Lowry with Little and Laine for Lowry just to go and get the puck.
Yeah.
You have Scheifele, Wheeler, and Kopp because that worked well last year. And then you have Little, Connor, and then you want more of a... Let's see,
Armia.
Yeah.
Armia. There you
Spread
go.
the wealth,
Boom.
right?
Because then you have the Armia could keep up with
Yeah.
Connor, and you have you have 2 trigger men with Little, who's
I guess
clearly doing the dishing.
It's almost time to look at doing that because running your top 6 with your 6 best players doesn't seem to be working.
If that is the lineup that we just mentioned, what's your fourth line then? Because again, we're saying fourth line, we've had issues.
What's your-
Lemieux's in there.
well, the
What's
thing
your
is
third?
you're waiting for Hendricks to come back to be your 4th line center.
Oh, is he
And-
hurt?
Yeah, he's hurt.
Oh, Yeah, okay.
yeah,
So
he's
then
been
you
on
have,
IR.
Hendricks, you have Matthias, and then you can throw in one. I put in Tanev because I like
Tanev,
Tanev.
Lemieux. Yeah, like that's the problem. Like some of the guys that they have in their bottom 6, like they would suit a 4th line role, but the problem is that they're on the 3rd line right now. You know,
Well, I agree.
if Sean Matthias is your 4th line left winger, that's not bad.
Well, that's pretty much.
But if he's your 3rd line left winger, then
I just want to put this into perspective. The way we're talking about Sean Matthias is the guy who Vancouver acquired for Roberto Luongo. And that's how you should think of Sean Matthias.
They
from
also
here on out.
got Jacob Markstrom, did they not?
Yeah, he's not on the team anymore.
He's their
Yeah,
starting
he's
goalie.
their starting goalie.
What? For Vancouver?
Yeah.
I'm going home. I don't know.
I mean,
I put all the onus
To be
on
fair, though, I
Matthias.
think Matthias scored 18 goals the first year in Vancouver, so that's not bad.
What happened to that Matthias?
I don't know. Like he drives me crazy now because he gets into scoring position, which is great.
Oh,
but he's just so bad.
he has no hands.
no hands whatsoever.
That Vancouver game, if Laine got as many chances as he got in that game, Laine would have had like 7 goals.
oh yeah.
That's literally how many good chances he had in that game, Matthias. I mean,
And he's either not corralling the puck to get the shot, or he gets the shot, and it's
maybe
just bad.
maybe he's overthinking a bit. Maybe
Gripping the stick a little
Maybe.
too tight.
but I don't know. I just
Like
I
our friend
think
Greg at hockey.
Gregory.
Maybe Gregory, yeah.
Who still hasn't
So
scored a goal.
basically, what you got, like, just to sum up all the Jets, so then we can move on. I'll ask you a couple more questions.
Mhm.
To sum up, basically the Jets right now in the last week or at the start of the season, it's basically just defensive woes. Like as a team, not just D, but it's just they're not committing
But,
to the
yeah,
style.
It's as a team.
It's too up and down. It's too one game they're fantastic, the other game they're awful. Like it's not even like, and that was the biggest problem. It's not. It's like I said. It's not that they're just losing. It's the way that they're losing. Like they're getting blown out. They don't look like they looked like the far the inferior team last night in that game. It was it was a very a very big drop off from the level of play that Columbus had to the level of play the Jets were producing. And I don't think it's a talent issue. I think it's just whether it was a lack of effort, whether they just weren't executing. Who knows? But yeah, the effort last night was not good.
So if they stick to the script and stick to what they actually are not known for, but basically
What they have.
yeah, what they have.
Yep.
Do you see if they keep going forward the way they're going, they're not making playoffs. So you want them to stick to a script, get a system, stick to it,
They're
ride
going
it
to
out
have
until they're
to
good.
really improve their defensive play to make it like they've shown that they can do it in spurts, but they need to do it consistently, and that's the one thing that they haven't been able to do. So if they can't do that, then playoffs this year, it's going to be a challenge.
And we all
It's
agree.
always been consistency with this team. Even
That's
looking back at
always
last
the
year,
problem.
waiting till 54 games to get a 3-game win streak.
They did it, by the way. They built their
Yeah.
website. They built their website in
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
month of the
Yeah.
season. They did it. You can now go to Jets.com?
.3and3.com.
.3and3.com. Yeah, 3 and 3. Also 8 L's in a row. No,
I do think they need to make their bottom six better. Like I said, whether that's internally or bringing someone in, I think they need to make it better.
Who are you looking at though? Like, because no one's trading right now. So are you looking?
Well,
at a
and
guy
that's the hard
in
part.
free
You're gonna
agency?
well, I think even you start with leaving Kyle Connor in the top 6.
Are you looking at
Matthew Burrow
maybe-
down.
Maybe going to an Andreas Athanasiou and signing him to an offer sheet. That's
interesting because I think he's really good.
bring him in for a 2-year, $2.5 million contract. Like
He's going to be worth a big,
like Detroit wouldn't sign that one.
that's what they're arguing about right now. He wants 2.5, and they won't budge off their 1.6.
Off your what? Where you can't
Have you
afford
wa-
your arena
have-
just because it's got lights on the
The thing
roof?
is
Have they watched this kid play? Like this kid could be 30 goal scorer. I think. Like he's
No, look at Anthony, man. I'm not saying no. I'm
he's
saying
outrageous.
no problem. Yeah, Andreas Athanasiou, or however you say it,
like
double A.
He's one of the fastest guys in the league. If you watch him play, like he's scored a number of highlight reel goals, and he's only played a year and a half. And
It would go
I
very
think he's
well with
good.
this team.
I think he's good.
Really well. Put him on a line with Ehlers and Scheifele. No one's touching
Yeah.
that
It's-
line
yeah,
speed-wise.
but Detroit
I
wouldn't
think
let
it's
that happen, right?
Well, if you sign him to a big enough
Well, why
contract,
not try?
I would at this point. Sign him $2.5 million, 2 years.
I guess it depends what the compensation would be if you do sign him.
What is the
It's
comp-
not much.
It probably wouldn't be a whole lot though.
It'd be like I think it's a 3rd or a 2nd round draft pick for that.
Do it.
For a player like
No,
that,
it's got to
I'd-
be every time you sign an offer sheet. There's always at least one first going.
No.
For sure. Pull it up. We got to fight. Compensation
Yeah, I'm
for
looking.
offer sheets.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think the Jets. I think they're too much in too much of a comfort zone with a lot of the guys that they have, and they need to.
They have the old boys club. We've talked
They
about
do.
this every year we've done the
They
podcast.
do, and they need to kind of break away from that a little bit.
Which is what, though? They keep signing them.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, nothing against Brian Little, but why do you sign that deal
At the start of the
at
year.
the start of a proving year where you have to see what your team's going to be?
All right. Contract.
So between 1.9 million, that's almost 2 million.
Yeah,
it's a
1.9.
second round pick, and like 1.9 million and 4 million is a second round pick. That's all you would give up for him. Two and a
I'd do
half,
it.
two and a half
I'd do it.
million.
Dude, push it
Right.
to 3. They won't even sign it.
Well,
Push
yeah.
it to 3.
I'd do it.
Do
I
it.
think
2 years
he's-
for $3
I think
million?
He's a good player.
Would
for
he
sure.
do the 2 years?
That's all I really.
No, because he's an RFA. Are you allowed to offer sheet an RFA?
Yes, that is literally.
That's how you are.
That's how you offer
How you
sheet.
sign an RFA.
And then he would still be an RFA?
How
I'm
old
not
is he?
trying to yank your
How
goat
old
over
is
here.
he?
22, maybe?
Yeah, he's young.
So if you
So-
sign him for 2 years,
then
yeah,
he'd still be an RFA
He'd still be
after
RFA. He's like Trouba. Like Trouba's an RFA at the end of the year.
Yeah.
He's good. Like he is.
I don't know how no one's gone after this kid for an offer sheet. He is
Is
really
it
talented.
maybe some off-ice issues?
No,
Well,
there's
but
no office issues.
he's in,
That we know of.
he's over in, is it Sweden or is it where he's somewhere
Swiss.
right now?
Switzerland.
Swiss league.
Yeah.
Not
Really?
playing with the team, but just practicing.
Just
with
practicing
the team.
with them. Yeah.
But I think he's kind of made a. I don't know if I call it a threat, but he's kind of said, I'm gonna go explore my options, elsewhere.
Well, that's the thing though, is the KHL already retracted their offer, whichever team was going after.
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
But I'm sure he can find a team because he's. I love him. I think
Yeah.
he's a great hockey player. The thing Detroit doesn't want to do is give in to him because they have Larkin coming up this year and Mantha coming up this year. So I think they want to
it's
hold.
going to be big. Yeah, big money
hold
here.
their, especially since I think the only contract coming off is the $5 million that Green's making.
He's off to a really good start, though. Eh?
He
Mike
had,
Green's gonna
8
be his-
assists in 4 games.
Mike Green's going to be a sweet trading chip for someone.
Speaking of really
Hey,
good,
Toronto, knock knock.
how about the Devils? Who saw that coming?
You know what?
Not
I
this
said
guy.
it every year until this year. I'm like, no, I'm done with the Devils. I'm
Actually,
not
yeah,
going to do it.
It's
Matt's
still early.
made plenty
Have
of
I-
bets with
have
this
I
guy.
not?
early.
Yeah.
It's still early, but hey, I watched a bit of the game they played against Toronto. They look like they're a young. They're the opposite.
They're
of,
fast.
They're the opposite of Jurassic Park now. They're Jurassic World. They are the 21st century updated technology version of Jurassic Park.
I just want to say on the note of the Devils, first off, did not see it coming. I will not support them, but I don't hate watching them play hockey.
I still think 6 games is too early to say.
It's a very small
gonna
sample
be.
size.
It's a very small
Well,
sample
that'd be
size.
like saying that Edmonton's not going to make the playoffs from their start.
Oh, that'd be
Which-
like saying that Vegas is, because no.
No.
It's not gonna happen.
They're making playoffs.
They've played Arizona twice, Buffalo, Boston, and Dallas. They played one good team.
Who's the one?
Dallas.
Oh, Boston isn't good. Oh,
Well, not when they don't have
Not
Bergeron.
that good.
makes sense. I just want to say, just to put a dagger at Colorado, because any chance you get to kick people when they're down, take it. Life's cold. You take those. Kick 'em. Will Butcher is the first rookie defenseman in NHL history to record at least 8 assists in his first 5 career games. Yeah, you didn't need any
Well, did you hear
offense from the back end there, Colorado.
You guys
What?
talked about how he didn't sign, but you guys didn't know why, right?
You told me that the
I
next
told
day.
you why.
Well, why?
The reason he wouldn't sign with Colorado is because Patty Waugh and Joe Sakic went and met with him and saw how small Will Butcher was and said, "You'll never play here." And that was the reason why he refused to sign in Colorado, because Joe Sakic backed him up when he was there.
Like Joe Sakic backed up Patrick
Waugh.
Waugh's statements.
Yeah, and then when he went to sign him, because he was a Hobie Baker winner last year, right?
Yep.
He probably just looked at him and said, "Fuck you! Like, why would I want to sign with you when 2 years ago you were telling me I'll never play?"
Yeah, 2
And
years
that's
ago
why he
you were like,
decided to
oh
do that.
no.
I think it
boys
has
club.
been scientifically proven that Joe Sakic is not a good GM.
Don't bring in... I'm not a fan of old players representing... past players going into management is what I'm trying to say. My brain.
Well, but
What's your team again?
Stevie Weiserman.
I'm not a big fan of it. Honestly,
Dude,
Stevie Y's not his team though. That's the thing.
Stevie was not.
Oh,
he's
his
in the
team.
right.
See,
See, no. I understand Ron Hextall, Paul Holmgren. Oh, they made the blueprint of how to do it. But it's because when it goes bad and it goes sour, you're gonna have to cut ties. And it's gonna be awkward. It's
See,
gonna
the
be
thing
weird.
is, Hextall's actually been doing a decent job.
Because Hextall first started with the Kings.
Yeah. And then he brought in Lombardi, eh?
Yeah, I know. I was hoping that one would just fly under the radar. Because Lombardi's going to be like, you know what? Let's sign Dale Weiss 4 years, $4 million apiece. Dutch Gretzky is going to be great. But no, I love the line. They call him Dutch Gretzky.
Why?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
But I'm
either.
on board. I'm
From
in.
Winnipeg.
He's Dutch Gretzky. So there's Dale Weiss, Travis Konechny, Nolan Patrick. They can fly. They're pretty good.
Did you see
How's-
Nolan Patrick's assist for Weiss's goal
I
the other
watched
day?
the game live.
That
How's
was
he been?
sick.
I haven't watched the
Nolan
Flyers.
Patrick's
Yeah.
been... He's not standing out amazingly, but he's definitely not getting blown past either.
Well, he's playing on the third line,
he's fitting in,
right?
yeah.
He's doing a good job for his
Yeah.
position.
Jakub Voracek, the quietest 9 assists in the league, leading the league in assists. 9.
I'd argue Backstrom he was even quieter because he had 6 goals and 5 assists, and they only gave him the 3rd star of the week.
It's okay. He's sweet. It's the way they want it. Nice and quiet.
It wasn't.
Mind.
That wasn't all in 1 week though.
Well, he was a third. He was the 3rd star. He had 6 goals and 3 assists or 4 assists. He had really good numbers. He had better numbers than Matthews and Ehlers, but he was the 3rd star.
No, it's because he's playing with Ovi, who's just. Oh, he's not even on Ovi's line. I lied. It's Kuznetsov. Okay, never mind.
Oh yeah, that life's tough, eh?
All I'm gonna
Playing
say-
with Kuznetsov's line.
Well, no, I'm saying Ovi was playing with Kuznetsov.
Oh
All I'm
yeah,
gonna
it's
say
Ovi
is-
Kuznetsov and douche.
In the first
Or
week,
douche.
the first
What's his
2
name?
weeks of the
Juice.
NHL has
Juice.
proven
Oh,
that
no,
I
Juice is a
understand
defenseman,
nothing
I
about
thought.
hockey right now.
He's forward.
Is he?
Pretty certain.
I could have.
Take a peek, take a peek.
I'm looking because I'm pretty sure he's a defenseman.
I thought he was a forward.
No, I'm
Yeah,
sure he's a
the
defenseman.
first 2 weeks of the league,
I understand nothing.
I know nothing. Okay,
because Burakovsky's playing with
Backstrom
Backstrom and Oshie, right?
and Vrana. Was it Jakub Vrana?
No, I think Vrana's on that top line then.
So Juice.
I'm almost 100% sure Juice.
Okay.
I don't even know how to say his name.
Call him Juice. Who cares?
Juice. That's okay.
Yeah.
Juice.
Did you? Oh, what do you guys think of if the Houston Rockets owner wants to bring in an NHL team to Houston? Would you have another team in the state of Dallas,
Texas?
or would you rather have one in
Texas?
Kansas? You were right. So he's a D.
He's a D.
Well, considering that Dallas doesn't draw huge crowds, no, I wouldn't put another team in Texas.
Fair.
I wouldn't have put a team in Vegas. I think it's going to be hot for a year or two. I think it's going to die right off.
And they bring him to Canada.
To Quebec.
And
Just
Saskatoon.
Bettman's.
Build the arena.
Bettman's
No, it's
stuck
it
with
is
that.
Saskatoon, that new arena. What's that?
I don't think Saskatoon will ever. I don't think.
No.
I don't think Saskatchewan will ever get an NHL team because they're 2 small cities.
Yes,
We're
so
not exactly
you
the
know.
largest city, but
Yeah, but you can fit
They have a rabid fan base.
you can fit 4 Saskatoons in Winnipeg, and Winnipeg is almost too small for an NHL.
Fair.
Like there's
Fair
200,000 people
statement.
there. Like
Isn't Regina right close though? Like an hour away that guys could still make it.
Regina's
to the
about 3 hours away.
Oh, is it really that far? I thought
Yeah.
it was way
It's a
closer.
hike. Yeah.
Never mind. I'm out.
And if you
Yeah.
combine populations, there's still half of Winnipeg. So like,
Oh, okay.
I can't see it happening.
They're not big. Yeah.
I can't see it happening.
I mean, they have
like
crazy.
AHL. I'm surprised they haven't gotten like an AHL team or something. Though.
Well, junior hockey's too big there.
I guess. Yeah.
Like, it's either junior hockey or pro, that's it. Like, you can't have AHL, I don't think. Because I'd much rather watch junior than AHL. I'm sorry, AHL, but it's not even close.
Well, it's so much more exciting because guys
Yeah.
don't know how to play defense yet.
Yeah. And they're just like, defensive system. Go play! It doesn't matter! Get the puck! Yay!
Jets would do great.
Or, did you guys see Babcock hit 600 wins?
Great.
Ken Hitchcock has 783 career wins. He's now third all time.
I'm done with TSN, SportsCenter.
Oh, you know what?
I'm done with all national media because it took them 4 games to say that Austin Matthews might be better than Connor McDavid. So
Not just that.
I'm done.
Not just that.
I'm sorry.
My favorite one was, are we underappreciating Austin Matthews? I'm like, you suck his cock for an hour every day on SportsCenter.
How
are you
dare
kidding me?
you?
Are you
It's at
kidding me?
least 10 minutes, not an hour. First off.
Sure.
No,
He's
you're probably
fantastic.
underappreciating the guy that has more goals and points than him, and that's Nikolai Ehlers.
But Austin Matthews has 45 career goals. 10 of them are game winners. Does Ehlers have that?
No, but
I think Ehlers has more
Austin
career
Matthews
goals.
is also pretty much the entire team.
Oh, so now Will Nye the scoring guy's a nobody. He's a bum.
Nylander's good. Barner's been bumped down to the 4th line.
Yeah, because okay, what did they say? What did Babcock say? Okay, he's on a line with JVR and Bozak.
And Bozak, so...
But the line was slumping.
Yeah, Marner was -6, which led the team for... Well, not led the team, but like... Was
Oh,
the
no,
worst
yeah,
scorer.
you
The
suck.
team.
Yeah, we got it.
So they're asking him, like, so why'd you put Marner down on the 4th line and not the other two? Well, in the event of a tie, it goes to the veterans. No, it doesn't. He just wasn't playing well. I don't know why that's such a hard question to answer. He wasn't
say it.
playing well. He needs to figure out his defensive bullshit. That's all there is to it.
Yep.
Fair.
And hey, I'm not criticizing the Leafs. They're good, but I just can't take the media.
Shoving them
Blasphemy.
down your throat.
I can't take it. It
It
just
drives
gets
me
worse
crazy.
and worse and worse.
I've stopped watching SportsCenter. It's not fun for me
Jay and Dan
anymore.
aren't even entertaining anymore. You know why? Because that's all they do.
Yep.
I can't take it.
You're done? You're out?
I can't take it.
Okay, I just want to read a real quick note on the Minnesota Wild since the Jets are playing them, and they just got obliterated with injuries. Like, their injuries, they have Charlie Call's
Wait,
long-term
didn't
IR.
you just talk about, like, milestones? Babcock?
Yeah.
I have one more milestone.
Go, let me have it.
Tonight, Marlowe will play his...
1500.
1500th game?
Gotta be.
Yeah.
I think so. He's played 9... No, how many seasons has he played? More than 9.
It's not showing
How's he
up.
doing? I only watched the first game of the year that the Leafs played because it was against the Jets.
That was
so.
his best game so far, in my mind.
Keep talking. I'm going to
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, well, while I'm talking about this, a Minnesota Wild got obliterated with injuries. Charlie Carl, long-term IR, 6 to 8 weeks. Nino Niederreiter is placed on the IR, high ankle sprain. Marcus Solino's having surgery for a facial fracture because he got in a fight.
Because he got
He
knocked
got
out.
fucking dummied.
Did he?
Oh, yeah.
I-
Whoever threw that, I don't know who he was fighting, but it was just, like, perfect connection time. Like, where, like,
so-
Felino's face was coming this way, like, to the right, and the punch just
Coming from
landed.
the left. And they
Whatever.
just
It
made
was just, it was good.
symmetry.
He got
Yeah.
hit as hard as you can get hit. Let me think of how I'm going to phrase this.
Yeah, like it was
It
a
is-
perfect storm.
He should have dropped and been unconscious with how hard he got hit.
Okay?
But he didn't.
So this is what I'm going to read here. The Minnesota Wild are victims of the salary cap. When the team faces off against, this is on Thursday, so tonight, Chicago Blackhawks, it will mark the second straight game in which the Wild have played shorthanded. Salary cap constraints have forced Wild coach Bruce Boudreau to carry one less forward on his bench, opting to use a spare defenseman to fill the roster hole. The Wild elected for the same arrangement in their last game, a 5-4 shootout loss to the Canes. According to Cap Friendly, Minnesota is just over $200,000 in salary cap space, leaving little flexibility for GM Chuck Fletcher. Key injuries to, of course, Parise, Granlund, Coyle, Nino, Foligno have also haven't helped the
They
cause.
have now.
Check this.
When was this article written? Because
Yesterday.
Because their next game's not till Friday against the Jets.
Oh, maybe I was last. No, I thought it was. Okay, my bad.
Worked for me.
Well, either way.
They'll still beat the Jets somehow. You watch.
No, it's okay. We're gonna figure it out.
You watch.
But like because they can't call anyone up because then they'll be over the cap.
That's hilarious.
So they're playing
Terrible.
extra D. Like the D's not as full.
You know what
they're
though?
just-
Tampa does that on a regular basis because then their key forwards get more ice time.
Yeah.
So it works out well for the Lightning.
Maybe
the
that's the
Lightning are
answer
really
for the
good.
Jets. Just eliminate the fourth line. Take him out.
That actually would. And then you bring.
That
Pullman
might be
in.
better.
I mean, it wouldn't be terrible.
Holy!
We did it!
Did we just figure
We
out how to
did
fix
it!
the Jets?
No hashtag no fourth line. Here we go. We are the line.
Yeah,
We
'cause
are the bar.
If you can give Ehlers, Scheifele, Wheeler, like all those guys extra time, Little, like anyone in that top six, other than maybe Connor because he's still young, that'd be fantastic.
Well, we just fixed it.
It'd be good, but their top players are also some of their worst defensive players, so I don't know how well that would work.
But like, no, think about it though. Okay, you just said Little, Line, Armia. And then you got Scheifele, Wheeler, Kopp. And then you have Connor. I'm drawing blank on the other
No,
two.
Connor was up with Little. 'Cause
Connor,
I
Connor
want-
Little, Line.
Ehlers and Line will be together.
Ehlers, Line,
And then Lowry when he gets healthy.
Lowry.
And then you have Little, Connor, Armia.
Yep.
And then you have... what are your
Shifes,
fourth lines?
Wheeler.
Well, who are your fourth... Oh, Shifes, Wheeler,
We
and
don't have a
Kopp.
fourth line.
Well, no, but you'd have two guys for your bottom. For your fourth line.
Lemieux,
You'd have-
and they're dead set on the other guy. Who's third? Tanev. Boom. That's
Well,
it.
yeah, I mean,
We did it.
if you're gonna spread the wealth around, I mean, it's not a bad
Because
idea.
even if you want to do that, because neither of those guys are center, but Wheeler can play center, so can... And then you have Scheifele and...
Ehlers
Little.
has taken face-offs.
No.
Not
I
too
would
many
put-
times.
I would never...
I would put
he's still offensively minded.
Scheifele with Wheeler and Kopp. I would keep that, or not Kopp, Connor. Keep that together. I would put. I'm trying to think of how you want to do this.
If you're spreading the wealth...
Okay, you have
You're
one
spreading
shot
the
and then
wealth.
we're moving on. Go.
I would put Little with. Ooh, this is tough.
See,
No,
I
okay, sorry, I lied. I would
Okay,
put
top to bottom, go. Who's your-
Scheifele, Line, Armia.
Done.
Ooh, I like that.
I would put Little, Wheeler, and Connor. And I would put Perot, Ehlers, and... Who am I missing?
Well, I don't have Pro in right now because he's in.
You have Armia you're missing.
No, I put him on
Oh,
top
you put in
line.
the top line.
My bad.
Perot...
Kopp, Lowry.
I put Perot, Ehlers, and... I don't even know.
You could put
I
Kopp
think...
there.
I think... Yeah, maybe Kopp. I think Lowry's a little... I don't think he can keep up with those
So
guys.
he would be your extra.
See, the
I
thing
even
is, he
maybe
doesn't
put
have
Brendan
to.
Lemieux on that line. See what he does.
He doesn't even have to
Boom.
really keep
That's
up
it.
as long as he can get to the corners and just
Low-
fight for pucks.
Yeah.
Lowry
Or
and
get
Lemieux.
into the zone.
Patan, like I mean, if you're gonna spread the wealth, why not? Because then you have three good lines instead of two fantastic
Yeah.
lines, and this is all like on paper, right? Like,
Well, and that's what I was watching Craig Button before the season, and they were talking about like the best lines in the NHL, and like obviously I think Crosby's line was number 1 or something, and McDavid's line was number 2.
Giroux was probably a close 3.
No, he wasn't. But they had Scheifele, Wheeler, and Perot at 5, but said if they would have kept Liney there, they were number 1, like without a doubt.
yeah,
Just proving the fact that like we have two lines that would have been fantastic, but if you spread the wealth, like
I mean, it's
other
just,
teams
it's just
do.
finding the right spot for these guys.
All right. So I'm going to go to the deli real quick.
Oh
'cause
wait,
we had
did I
another
say
comment.
Marlowe is 1,500?
1,500 games?
1,500
Fantastic. All right. Our favorite person came back. Luke. He's back. 2 comments.
Well, you
2
got
comments.
another YouTube thing.
This
right?
is proving it's not me. I would never say what I'm about to read.
Okay,
This one I might have.
He's trying to like push it away. So
Shut
you don't
up!
think it's him.
I'll make my judgments
Okay,
after.
Luke Trottier, first comment. Dan's the man. Second
Oh,
comment.
no, he's never.
Thanks.
Cam would never say that.
No, that is true.
Second comment. He is right about Provorov. Provorov reminds me a lot of Drew Doughty.
Okay, no.
Obviously
Cam.
not as good yet. He is underrated, to be honest. He has a ways to go, as any kid would, but he is a number 1 D already. I mean, that was a given in Philly. How dare you throw Philly? This is no way is this
I literally
me.
had my hands up like anyone's number 1 D in Philly. Like
I would never say this. And then, but just period, he's a number 1 caliber. I would take Provorov over Buff in a one-season vacuum, not factoring in age or future contract, etc. Also, Gudis is a legit top 4 guy. People have misconceptions that he's a talentless goon. I would never compare him to Doughty. I do not like Drew Doughty. Not even a bit.
See-
Provorov's already better than Doughty. I said it.
I'm not trying to say Provorov is bad, but the kid's played 1 year. To say he's better than a guy that puts up 50 points as a defenseman every year.
We're talking D. You said number 1 D. That was the argument.
I didn't mean he's better
D.
at defense. I meant a better player. Dustin Byfuglien is a more impact player right now, but he's also 32 years old. Ivan Provorov in 5 years.
Ivan Provorov's 20.
Yeah. In 5 years, Provorov probably will be much better.
5? Come on.
I'll give him
maybe
probably
less.
2.
Maybe less.
I'd say 2. But
the thing
nonetheless,
is, we're talking best player right now.
we said number 1 D was the argument. Provorov, D. He plays it.
Well, no, but
He's not on an opposite blue line
But we
on a
also talk
penalty
about
kill.
how Burns is a good defenseman, and he's not. He just puts up so many points that no one cares how shitty he is defensively. We had this conversation already about how bad Burns is.
Carlson's not fantastic defensively. Subban's not
Oh yeah,
great
a guy who
defensively.
loses half an ankle bone isn't good defensively.
Actually, no, he was really good defensively last year.
But normally he's not.
Under Boucher, I think he
The
has
guys
to
that put up the high points, they're not. Like,
they have to cheat too much to the offense.
look at Ryan Suter. He's one of the best defensive defensemen in the NHL, and he puts up next to no points. Because you don't. You can't do both.
So, ergo, your own argument, Ivan Provorov's a better defenseman because he puts up less points.
Never said that.
I was right again. I knew it. We'll go to Fallen for Dolan. We'll leave it here. Oh, we're officially going to hashtag Fallen for Dolan.
And
for the draft.
I still stand by my, if Gudas is in your top 4, your team's not very good.
You also do all in for Dolan, losing wise.
All in for Dolan, fallen for Dolan.
Same thing, but
I still think the battle for Joe Buck's baby boy's BF is the best.
There you go.
Whatever
it's a mouthful.
Hold on. What did I write?
There you go.
It is a mouthful.
I wrote it down. Oh, I didn't write it down. No. Okay. Yeah, all in for Dolan, fallen for Dolan, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever.
This guy's gonna be good, I think. Rasmus Dolan. All right. So number 27, we got Buffalo. 28, Montreal Canadiens. 29, New York Rangers. 30, Edmonton Oilers. 31, Arizona. Please.
You can tell it's the beginning.
Please.
You can tell it's the beginning of the season.
Don't do this, Edmonton. Not again. I can't take it. My heart will break.
It's early.
It's very early.
It's early. There's no Draisaitl.
It's really weird.
It's not even the end of October, and we're already doing fallen for Dolan or all in for Dolan.
It's really weird hearing you say the bottom 5 and start at 27. And I'm like, but what about 20? Oh, right, Vegas.
Yeah, every time.
It screwed me up.
It's weird. It's weird. I had to count it twice before I read it. I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 1, 2, 3.
You guys notice that the schedule is super spaced out this year? I wonder if it's because there's that extra team, so there's always an odd team out. So it leads to bigger breaks.
I like it. It's
because
nice.
the Jets have 3 or 4 days between games. They normally play 5 games in 6 days.
Well, that was also last year was the World Cup really screwed things up.
But the Jets have always had a really shitty schedule.
Well, then again, you look at our February schedule. I'm pretty sure it's almost every 2 days, but they're all at home, so it's
they
not
play
as bad.
10 in a row at home.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the Jets. Okay, first off,
that'll be the Jets' big
if they're around the playoff line at that time, that's going to make or break their season.
Get rid of the fourth line entirely and have a schedule. The Jets play better when they don't get days off. Because we're learning this year.
True.
They've had too many days off now. Too many time to go fishing when you're allegedly injured.
The thing is with that is you can also put like one of your defensemen up on the fourth line. Like you can have a Buff or a Pullman because they both played forward before up on that line. Because that's what Tampa Day says that Slater
Cuckoo.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
Koek.
Yeah, something like that.
That makes cuckoo, apparently. Okay, sure.
Well, he's one of their defensemen that jumps up and plays forward if some of their guys are tired and can't go on their fourth line.
That's beautiful. All right, any closing words, Dan? Go.
No.
No, none. Fantastic.
I don't know. I think we covered everything. Hopefully the Jets bounce back on Friday.
Okay.
You were really right about Jets fan club.
Oh yeah, no, I've already.
There was a lot of Jets talk.
Whenever you guys are together, like whenever it's us three, like Dan, Matt, Cam, I'm calling it Jets fan club / because there was a point in time, like now I'm just running over time, so I'll wrap it up here. I didn't talk for like almost 19 minutes, like because I'm just like. I didn't watch the games. I'll just listen. So it's like I watch the games now or listen because you guys are just going.
0 Steve Mason jabs. I was
he's doing it for me. It's no
expecting
problem.
at least 1 or 2.
I don't need to make fun of Steve Mason when he's playing himself, so that's fine. All right, well, that's been Last Man in Podcast, episode 167. If you like what you saw, heard. Actually, I did have someone comment. They're like, maybe you shouldn't have just pictures on YouTube. you should be somewhere and expand your... Like, they weren't saying in a derogatory tone or anything, but they messaged us. They were like, hey, maybe you should be somewhere else other than YouTube because I don't want to watch a picture video for over an hour. And I was like, you can find us on iTunes. So I don't know if you listen to iTunes or anywhere where podcasts are found. And he's like, oh, thanks. I'm like, no problem, man. Or person. No problem. We got your ass. It's all good. Anyways, yeah, check us out. iTunes, anywhere where podcasts are offered, you can find us. Twitter at LastManNPC. Tweet us anything. Comment below. I don't know if we ask any questions, really. But if you have anything on your mind,
well, if anyone has any Jets suggestions of what they should do,
yeah, would you? There's
suggest the lines.
Suggest the lines. Well, man, Greg's gonna hate us. Suggest the lines.
Why?
Because Greg hates talking about the lines. Because he did it all summer.
We didn't talk about the beloved Leafs.
Oh well, we did. I snuck a few in there.
Just watch SportsCenter. You get enough of it.
Yeah, SportsCenter. You're in there. And then if you have any questions or anything, send us an email at lastminutepc@gmail.com. For everyone here, thank you very much. See you next week. And yep, that's it.